Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful.
दीगर सलावात अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आले
Muhammad, for the forgiveness of our sins and the sins of our forefathers and all those mu'mineen and mu'minat that were with us last Muharram but are not with us this Muharram, especially the mu'mineen of Wakefield and the surrounding towns. Can we have a loud salawat, please? For the azmat of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, especially for the reappearance of our 12th Imam, and for the acceptance of all of our du'as, for the zikr of Aba Abdullah Hussain, and for the sake of Babul Hawaij, Abul Fadl Abbas. Can we have a loud salawat, please? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على سيد الأشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، طبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد، والصلاة والسلام على أهله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. قال عز وجل في قرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. Today it is our 7th session, our 7th Majalis in the remembrance of Aba Abdullah Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam. It has been 7 days that we have been attending here, trying to understand through Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam how we can reform ourselves, how we can change ourselves, how we can make ourselves a better person through the zikr of Ali Muhammad. This zikr of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, zikr yani, zikr is translated from Arabic to English. Zikr means remembrance. Zikr means to remember someone. So whenever we come to the majlis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, where the zikr of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain is taking place, it means that we, all of us together, have gathered to remember Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. This is that zikr, this is that remembrance, that not every remembrance will be rewarded on the day of judgment. Yani, if a tragedy falls upon you, a musibat falls upon someone that you know, to remember that tragedy, to remember that thing that happened to him, which led to the world or the people of the time to remember him with tears, will give you no benefit at all. It is only the remembrance of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, it is only the tragedy of Karbala, that when a person sits and remembers Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, every second, every minute spent in that gathering where the remembrance of Aba Abdullah is taking place, it is spent as if a person is doing the ibadat of Allah Azza wa Jalla. It is only the zikr of Hussain that gives you the sawab for the remembrance of Allah. It is only the zikr of Hussain that gives you the sawab of the remembrance of Rasulullah. And it is only the ziyarat of Imam Hussain that does not only give you the sawab of the ziyarat of Aba Abdullah, but the Prophet says, Man za'ar al-Hussain ka man za'arani. The Prophet says that that person who does the ziyarat of Imam Hussain, ka man za'arani, he has not only done the ziyarat of Imam Hussain, but by going to visit Aba Abdullah, by going to do the ziyarat of Aba Abdullah, he has done the ziyarat of Imam Hussain, and he has also done my ziyarat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. The Prophet then continues, وَمَنْ زَعَرَنِي كَمَنْ زَعَرَ اللَّهِ. That person who does my ziyarat also does the ziyarat of Allah Azza wa Jalla. This is the sawab of the ziyarat of Aba Abdullah. Just imagine what ajr you are getting by listening to the zikr of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. Or allow me to say that by going for the ziyarat of Aba Abdullah, or doing the zikr of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, you are not only doing the ziyarat of Aba Abdullah, you are not only doing the zikr of Aba Abdullah, but from Adam to Muhammad, every single prophet of Allah that came into this dunya, because Hussain is the varis of prophethood. Hussain is the one that saved prophethood by doing the zikr and remembrance of Aba Abdullah Abdullah, you are remembering from Adam to Khatam every single prophet of Allah Azza wa Jalla. By doing the zikr of Aba Abdullah, you are remembering every single prophet. Because Hussain is the name of Islam. Hussain represents Imamat. Hussain represents Risalat. Hussain represents Tawheed. Because when Hussain came into Karbala, he came to save Tawheed. Many people are still confused, and it's 1443 years have passed, and still people are confused. What did Yazid do in Karbala? You know, with the current situation of the world, with the halat and the situation in Afghanistan, and as I have said many times, the Majlis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, it is a university. This isn't the Saga. This is a place where we learn how to govern our lives. This is a place where how we learn to move back to Allah Azza wa Jal. This is a place how we learn to understand the Khatimul Anbiya. This is a place how we learn to understand the Wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Because Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, when Mazloom Karbala left Medina, Imam Hussain did not only leave so that he could spread the word of Rasulullah, but Imam says that I have spread the word of Rasulullah as well as my father, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Because after the Prophet, it had only been 50 years or so more. People had forgotten the Holy Prophet of Islam. People had forgotten Ghadir. Imam Hussain left Medina to bring people back towards Risalat and Imamat. Even though they had claimed that they believe in Tawheed, but they had moved away from Risalat and Imamat. It is this grudge that they have against Imamat that till this day, any person from the family of Rasulullah who is associated with Rasulullah, the followers of Banu Umayyah still dislike Ali Muhammad. In the current situation, as you all saw in the news last night, we do not have a problem with Taliban taking over Afghanistan. That is not our problem, it is not our issue. As long as they do not kill innocent people, innocent humans, no matter what their religion, race, color, language, but to kill innocent people in Islam, it is not allowed. Not according to any Shariat. But my point is that they have taken over Afghanistan in a matter of days. What is the first thing that the Taliban have done when they came into power? You have all seen the video that the first thing that they did was they removed the flags which said Labbaik Ya Hussain, and they put the flag of La ilaha illallah. Going back to my point which I mentioned yesterday, these people 1400 years later are still not understanding the essence of Islam. They are still not understanding what Islam is. Today you are waving your flags of La ilaha illallah. If it wasn't for the sacrifice of Imam Hussain, then La ilaha illallah would have ended in Karbala. What were the wordings of Yazid? There is no God, there is no Muhammad, there is nothing. They have made all this up because they wanted to attain power. Yazid acted upon what he was taught by his father Muawiyah ibn Sufyan. If he had been taught anything different, then he should have changed his attitude towards Ali Muhammad. I want to be very clear in the words that I am using. If these things were not written in history, then who am I or who are you to mention these? Do we sit at home and make stories up against the companions of Rasulullah? Astaghfirullah, we don't. We only mention those things that have been mentioned in history. If Rasulullah called someone and gave him a permission, gave him a position in his life, we respect that person. But who are those people that Rasulullah removed from Medina in his life, told them to go away from Medina, and he gave such a hukam, he gave such a order that he said any person who comes after me, he will also make sure that they move 10 miles more away from the position that they are in. Then you tell me, what are you going to say in regards to that person that due to relationships made that person come back to Medina? I don't have to mention any names. The history is in front of you. You can read history and you can see who were the people that brought all those people back to Medina that were the enemies of Islam. Because it wasn't Ali Muhammad. Those people that claimed Khilafat. Now the reason why I have used the word claim, this is not my word. This is the wording of yours and my master, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam al-Muttaqeen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wa salam. In Khutbah Shakshakiyya, in Nahj al-Balagha, Mawla says that they claimed that which was not theirs. Yani, if our Mawla is saying that they claimed something which was not theirs, then why shall you and me be scared in saying that which our Mawla said? Everything that we see, everything that happened after Rasulullah, it all started when Rasulullah made the announcement in Ghadir. When the Prophet said that after me, your master is Ali ibn Abi Talib. This situation all started from Ghadir. And they kept developing over time. In the times of every Khalifa, these people made sure that more and more people move away from Ali Muhammad. Yani, the time of Hazrat Abu Bakr, the reason why I'm saying Hazrat Abu Bakr, because we have been taught by our Imams, treat somebody, the personalities with respect, because they in return will treat your personalities with respect. This is the teaching from Imam Jafar Sadiq. My maqsad is not to do tawheen of any personality, but I am mentioning the facts for the youth. When the time of Hazrat Abu Bakr came, we are not discussing how he became Khalifa. Whatever happened, happened. But he became Khalifa not for the people of Makkah, not for the people of Medina, not for the people of Yemen, not for the people of Misr, but he became Khalifa for Muslimin. He became Khalifa for who? Muslimin. And when he became Khalifa, what was his job? His job was to keep people on the path of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Let's believe that the first Khalifa kept people on the path, on that Sirat al-Mustaqim set by Rasulullah. And Hazrat Umar also continued this. He also kept people according to the path of Rasulullah. Usman also kept people on the path of Rasulullah. Every single Khalifa of the Muslims kept people on the path of Rasulullah. Then why is it when the time of Muawiyah came, people openly started cursing Ali Muhammad? If the time of Abu Bakr, if the time of Umar, if the time of Usman, people were told the love of Ali Muhammad like the Prophet taught. If people stood up for Fatima Zahra like the Prophet stood for Fatima Zahra. If people loved Hassan and Hussain like Rasulullah loved Hassan and Hussain. If people loved Amir al-Mu'mineen like Rasulullah loved Amir al-Mu'mineen, then why is it after the passing of 4 Khalifa, 3 Khalifa, when the time of Muawiyah came, people started cursing Ali ibn Abi Talib, people started cursing Ali Muhammad, not openly, but they made it wajib that in Jummah khutbah, until you do not send la'nat upon Ali Muhammad, your salah, your namaz is not accepted. Nothing is accepted. So something must have happened somewhere. Because in history, they have one thing, whenever the followers of Ali ibn Abi Talib say something, they say, no, this is a fabrication, the Shia have made this up. I don't understand, and what makes me laugh is that from the time of Abu Bakr to the time of Muawiyah, every single narrator of hadith was employed by the government. Every single Rawi only wrote those hadiths which were approved by the government of the time. Hadith is smaller than the Quran. Do you agree, Shahji? Hadith is smaller than the wordings of the Quran. What did Umar do? Umar, how many Qurans did he burn? Why did he burn them? He burned them because he wanted people to have one Quran. Not so that every single person in his own house has a different Quran, but every single person has the same Quran. Then why is it that when it came to hadiths, every single Ravi that quoted hadiths, you had no authority to verify them? Who better to verify a hadith than those people that were always with Rasulullah? There is no one better than Ali Muhammad. And even Ali Muhammad have taught us that any hadith that you hear, which people say that this is from Ali Muhammad, compare that hadith with the Quran. If it contradicts the Quran, then that hadith is not from us.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
But then we have many hadiths in Sahih Bukhari, yani after the Quran, the most authentic book for the majority of the Muslims is Sahih Bukhari. Then why is it there are many hadiths in there that contradict the Quran? Yani the love of Ali Muhammad is not something only mentioned by the Prophet of Islam. But where are you going to put the ayat? قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Where are you going to put the ayat? إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ اللَّهُ وَلِيُّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Where are you going to put all these ayat? Everything that happened after Ghadir, it was a development. Karbala wasn't an incident. Karbala wasn't an accident. Karbala was all planned. Muawiyah planned this. Yazid planned this. No disrespect to any of the companions of Rasulullah. Neither are we the followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen. We do not belong to such a sect that does the tawheen of the companions of Rasulullah. This is an ilzam upon us. People say to us, when people hear that our children are Shia, many of the youth and youngsters ask me this, that when they hear that we are Shia, they say, you insult the companions of Rasulullah. Astaghfirullah. You insult the wives of Rasulullah. Baba, we don't insult the companions of Rasulullah, and remember my words that we respect every single prophet of Rasulullah that understood the azmat, the fazilat and the rifat of Ali Muhammad. Everything that we do in our lives or that we should do in our lives should be only for the pleasure of Allah, His Prophet and Ali Muhammad. Nothing else matters. So if somebody still refuses to believe in you, say to them that I follow Allah, His Prophet and those people appointed by the Prophet of Islam. Saqifa was not something which the Prophet said do. Saqifa was man-made, and we believe in all the companions respectably. We believe in them, but my question is, why leave the way of Allah Azza wa Jal when Allah Azza wa Jal appointed every successor of every previous prophet? Then why is it when the time of Khatimul Anbiya came, the so-called Muslims of the time had the need to make a committee so that they together, who claim to know more than Rasulullah, who claim to know more than Allah Azza wa Jal, what need did these Muslims have to make a committee to choose a successor for Rasulullah? All points to the fact that Karbala was not an incident. Karbala was not an accident, but Karbala was planned. And the first meeting that these people had to decide what is going to happen with the Islamic nation, the first meeting took place in Saqif, when the haqq of Amir al-Mu'mineen was taken. This continued till today. Coming back to the current situation, I started this discussion in regards to the situation of Afghanistan. Because many people are questioning us, oh, what shall we do about Afghanistan? Look, Afghanistan has been taken over by the Taliban. Let me repeat, it is not our problem that Afghanistan has been taken over by the Taliban. It will become our problem when they start killing innocent people, because our teachings teach us, when there is injustice taking place, raise your voices. When there is oppression taking place, raise your voices. Where are all those people that today are speaking about the situation of Afghanistan? Where were all these people? Where were all these news outlets? Where were all these social media activists when innocent people, innocent children, innocent women were being killed in Palestine? Where were all of these people when innocent people were being killed in Yemen? Where were all these people when innocent people were being killed in Iraq? Where were all these people when innocent people were being killed in Burma? Where were all these people when innocent people were being killed in parts of the world where they did not even have a voice, they did not even have social media, they did not even have any way to get their voices heard? Why was the media quiet then? The reason why the media is speaking now, because the media only speaks when these Western countries see that there is advantage for them, then they only speak. Why is it that the innocent people are being killed in the world? There is no coverage. But Afghanistan, yani 22 years. Now some people might be thinking, why is it that Molana today on the mimbar is mentioning Afghanistan? And let me repeat, the reason why we mention these things on our mimbar is because the Majlis of Abdullah, as I said, is a university. Our children need to know the current situation of the world if they want to be Hussainis, if they want to face the world as Hussainis, they need to know what Islam says about this. And there is no better place than the mimbar of Rasulullah to explain this to our children. As I said, raise your voices against oppression, raise your voices against any tyrant, raise your voices against any innocent killing, raise your voices when the haqq of women is being taken, raise your voices when innocent children are being killed, raise your voices when people are trying to move people away from education, raise your voices when the rights of women are being taken, raise your voices when the haqq of Muhammad and Mustafa is being taken, raise your voices when the haqq of Al Muhammad is being taken, raise your voices when the haqq of Risalat is being taken, raise your voices when the haqq of the Vilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen is being taken. This is all dust that we are getting from the Majlis of Abdullah Hussain. As I said, the first thing that they did was they removed the flags of Hussain. Yani they have shown the world that they have nothing to do with Hussain ibn Ali. Hussain is that blessed personality that even the non-Muslim state. But if you read the events that unfolded in Karbala, you will become a better person. Not a Muslim. Not a Muslim. You will become a better person by reading what unfolded in Karbala. Yani the story of Karbala, shall I say, the Waqia of Karbala, the tragedies that fell in Karbala are not only for the Muslims, but even non-Muslims take a dars, take lessons from the University of Abdullah. Then those people, the first action that they have done in their Khilafat is to remove the flags of Abdullah al-Hussain. Do you think that they are going to teach the world the Seerat and the Shariat of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad? Or are they going to follow in the footsteps of Banu Umayyah? We do la'nat upon Banu Umayyah. Don't be scared when it comes to sending la'nat. La'nat is not a swear word. La'nat is not a curse. La'nat is that you are saying, Ya Allah, remove your rahmat from all those people that go against you. So you have the right to do la'nat upon that person who moves people away from God, who moves people away from prophets. And this Khilafat which they are claiming has nothing to do with Islam. But if, now this is a big if, because I have seen a video a few moments before I came into the Majlis. The Taliban have claimed that we will not stop the azadari of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. Now if they stick to this and they let, not Shia, because the zikr, the azadari of Imam Hussain has nothing to do with the Shia or Sunni, but the azadari of Mazloom Karbala has only links with that person who has a heart and who is a human. So let's see and let's do dua. May Allah Azza wa Jal make the current situation of Afghanistan better for the people of Afghanistan. And our dua is only this, that may the zikr of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam continue the way not we want, but the way Ali Muhammad have taught us to do the zikr of Ali Muhammad. Can we have a loud salawat, please? The month of Muharram, it is a firm reminder for the believers that Muharram is a time where we stand for truth and we fight oppression. Yani the zikr of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain is a place where we gather to remember Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam and the tragedies that fell upon Ali Muhammad. And the message of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain is to stand one with haqq, truth, and to stand against oppression. Any person in the world can claim to be a Peer, can claim to be a saint, a Sufi, he can claim to be Agha, he can claim to be whatever he wants, but if he does not stand with the haqq, if he does not stand against oppression, then he is not supporting the mission of Mazloom Karbala, but indirectly he is standing against the mission of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. Because this door treats everyone equally who understand the musibat of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. Today, it is the 7th of Muharram, and these days and nights are passing very quickly. 7th of Muharram is associated with the son of Hassan Mushtaba, Hazrat Qasim alayhi salatu wasalam. For all the youngsters and children listening to this majlis, Hazrat Qasim was 13 in Karbala. Only 13 in Karbala. Today we have not only gathered to remember and give our pursa to Imam Hussain, but today when we cry for Qasim, we are giving pursa to Hassan Mushtaba. Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wasalam, when he was given poison and when he was at home and blood was gushing forth, Imam Hassan says to his brother Hussain, "Oh Hussain, where is my son Qasim?" Qasim walks in, Imam Hassan is laying down in pain. The doctors sitting here know that when someone is poisoned, the poison works its way inside the blood veins, and at every single step when a person breathes, the asar of the zahr, the poison gets more and more. With each each passing time and which each breath the poison is getting more and more for Hassan and Mujtaba. But what does Imam Hassan say? When Hazrat Qasim walks into the room, Hazrat Qasim is probably the age of 2 and 3 when Imam Hassan died. When Hazrat Qasim comes in, Imam Hassan says, "Oh Qasim, come and lay upon my chest, because I, Hassan, love you dearly. By you laying on my chest, I will feel peace. Oh Qasim, when you lay upon my chest, I will feel peace." Mu'mineen and Azadar, Qasim was an orphan in Karbala. He was yatim in Karbala. And his mother, Farwa, you know, these past few nights we have been talking about the responsibilities of mother and how mothers have been training their children. We listened to what Sayyida Zainab did for her children, On and Muhammad. We listened to the Musibah of Ali Asghar and what Rabab did for Ali Asghar. Today I want to discuss what Farwa did for Hazrat Qasim. On the eve of Ashur, every mother, as I have said before, every mother is preparing their children to sacrifice themselves upon Mazaloom Karbala. We find that in the tent of Farwa is sitting in front of Qasim, and she says, "Oh Qasim, I am not from your family, but I was wedded into your family. I came from outside. But oh Qasim, tomorrow every single person will be sacrificing themselves for Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. Oh Qasim, I want you to be the first one to sacrifice himself upon Hussain ibn Ali." Sayyida Farwa is preparing Qasim. And when the day of Ashur starts, 10th of Muharram starts, every single child is being sacrificed. And we see that Hazrat Qasim is sitting in the corner and Hazrat Qasim is crying. Farwa comes up to Qasim and she says, "Oh Qasim, why is it that you are crying, oh my son?" You know, when a child is yatim, when a child is an orphan, a mother feels it very quickly. Farwa says, "Oh Qasim, why is it that you are crying?" Qasim lifts his head and he says, "Oh mother, every single person has got permission from Uncle Hussain, but Uncle is not giving me permission to go and fight Mazloom Karbala." He hears this and he says, "Oh Qasim, how can I give you permission? Whenever I long to see my brother Hassan, I look at your face, I do the ziyarat of your face, and it is as if I have done ziyarat of Hassan Mujtaba. Oh Qasim, how can I send you?" Hazrat Qasim continues to cry. Farwa looks at Qasim and she says, "Oh Qasim, your father Hassan said to me that when a time comes upon my son Qasim, when he has nowhere to return to, and when he is in musibah, when he is in mushkil, the amulet, the taweez that I have tied on his arm, tell Qasim to open that and he will find an answer to his problems." Azadaro, the reason why we cry for the musibah of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain, Hazrat Qasim takes off this taweez and he is sitting on the floor and he begins to open this taweez. As soon as he opens this taweez, he sees that there is writing written by his father Hassan, and he says, oh Qasim, on the day of Ashura, when you find that my brother Hussain is all alone, my brother Hussain is gharib, my brother Hussain is all thirsty in Karbala. Oh Qasim, sacrifice yourself for my brother Hussain. Qasim smiles and he runs towards the tent of Aba Abdullah and he says, oh Uncle Hussain, look, I have brought permission from my father Hassan, Mu'mineen Azadar of Aba Abdullah. When a brother who loves his brother so much, an elder brother is like a father for a younger brother. Azadar, when Hussain looks at the letter from Hassan and he reads that even at this time his brother Hassan is remembering him, he kisses Qasim and he says, my brother at this time of my ghurbat is still remembering me. My brother Hassan is still remembering me. Azadar, final words of Musibah. I know that we are insan, we are humans, we get tired by crying, but we only have 3 days left. Hussain is a guest for 3 days. Hussain will be killed on 10th of Muharram. Hussain will be killed on 10th of Muharram. Eventually, Qasim was given permission. As Qasim left the tent, Imam Hussain is looking at Qasim like Hassan is leaving the tent. Imam Hussain is looking at Qasim like Hassan is leaving the tent. Zainab is looking at Qasim like Hassan is leaving the tent. Azadaro, a time came when Qasim was fighting. A zalim came from behind and struck the head of Qasim. The head of Qasim was struck. Qasim fell from the horse. As Qasim was falling, he said, Assalamu alayka, Ya Aba Abdullah. Abbas and Hussain run towards Qasim. But the reason why we cry before Abbas and Hussain reach Qasim, horses from west run to east the body of Qasim. The body of Qasim is in 100 pieces. All of the plains of Karbala. What does Aba Abdullah al-Hussain do? Mu'mineen, look at me. Look at me. Imam Hussain grabs his Aba. And what did he do? He picks up the pieces of Qasim and he puts them inside his Aba. With each piece that Hussain is putting in his Aba, he is saying, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Hussain carries the pieces of Qasim to the tent and he says, where is Farwa? Zainab says, oh Hussain, when Farwa heard that her son had fallen from the horse, she cannot see from her eyes. Ba ghurbata, ba musibata, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ya Allah, for the sake of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad, accept our girya, accept our tears on Hazrat al-Qasim today. Ya Allah, give our youngsters the ability to implement on the teachings of Ali Muhammad. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, for the sake of Shuhada Karbala, all those people that have passed away from this dunya by facing oppression, by facing tyrants, Ya Allah, give them all a place in the Jawar of Hussain ibn Ali. Ya Allah, accept our du'as for the sake of Aba Abdullah. Ya Allah, Anjuman Ghulaman-e-Aulad-e-Zahra, Salamullah alayha, who have organized these 10 days, this ashra of majalis, of remembrance of Aba Abdullah. Ya Allah, all those people that are helping this adara, Ya Allah, give them barakat in their rizq, in their wealth, and in their children. Ya Allah, give us all the ability to do the azadari of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. Give us all the tawfiq to stay on the wilayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ya Allah, accept our du'as for the zikr of Ali Muhammad, for the acceptance of your du'as together with the loudest of your voices. Allahumma ajil li waliyika al-faraj. Allahumma ajil li waliyika al-faraj. Allahumma ajil li waliyika al-faraj. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد ماتم مظلوم کربلا.